Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we've got the new handicap marks in, and I've had a look through them for both the UK and Ireland. I haven't found many this week. I found 4 in total, but I think that they could all have big races or at least a certain target coming up for them. And we're going to start off looking at Monvial, who has dropped £3 to 123. Now, I think that's fair on his recent form. Very disappointing again. Beat 1 horse home at Wetherby, having previously beat 0 at Taunton, and then the time before that at Sandown in November he beat 1 horse. So in his 3 runs from 16, 32, 33 rivals, or 33 horses in the race, he's beaten just 2 of them. So he has dropped significantly in the weights. Well, I say significantly. He's dropped from a mark of 129 down to 123 now. I feel that might be enough if they've got a race in mind. And I do have a race in mind, and I really hope this is the race they're aiming for. There is this handicap here at Uttoxeter on the 15th of March. So why this would be quite good is hopefully we could get a price about him, and I think he would run a huge race in this race. And if Cheltenham's all gone wrong and we've had a terrible Cheltenham, hopefully this horse could get us out of a bit of trouble. Like to think we're not going to be anywhere near that though. But why this race? So, ran in it last year. Finished second. Got beat by Santos Blue. Off a mark of 126, so a £3 higher mark. Only got beat a neck. Really good effort. Interestingly, the horse back in 4th that day was Jaguar. Let's see what... I don't think Santos Blue has come out and won since, but let's just have a look. He hasn't, but at least he's run reasonably well. Last time out, he was finishing second in a handicap hurdle off his new high 136 mark. So, Monvial finished second, just got beat by a neck in this race last year off a £3 high mark. He then came back to Uttoxeter a few weeks later, or in May, finished second again, in a better race, got beat by Resplendent Grey. Now, Resplendent Grey is definitely better than the 125 horse that he was, or the 125 rating that he was running off. He's rated 132 over hurdles and 142 over fences. He was beating Monvial that day off 125 when sent off the 13 to 8 favourite. It was the right horse to beat Monvial. Surely he's got to go back for this race again at Uttoxeter just after Cheltenham. It looks obvious, and if he's going to bounce back anywhere, it's going to be at Uttoxeter. 2 runs, 2 seconds, both good efforts. Narrowly beaten in this race off a £3 higher mark, and then bumped into one next time out at Uttoxeter. Hopefully that will be a nice one for Saturday the 15th of March. We then move on to Gelino Bello, who disappointed at Sandown, pulled up, maybe didn't like the ground. If you look back through his form, you can see that he's never really run on heavy, never really run on soft, to be fair. Yes, he's got a win on soft at Newbury when beating Peking Rose. That was in a novice hurdle. He was fully expected to win that. That came off the back of finishing 4th in a Lanzarote hurdle. He then went to Aintree and won a Grade 1. So, you know, that wasn't unexpected, winning that hurdles race on soft. But then since then, they've really targeted looking at good to soft, soft at worst. He pulled up on soft, though, at Cheltenham in January 2023 in a Grade 2. Yes, it's not gone to plan since coming back from a long layoff. He was 6th in a Pertemps qualifier. I feel they might have been looking at that going, can we get him in the Pertemps final? That didn't work. He then went to Sandown, as I said. Disappointed on that heavy going, but maybe just got himself so far back and was never really in the race, and the ground may have gone against him. That means he has dropped another £3 down to 138. Now, that's very interesting, I feel. A 138 for a Grade 1 horse, or a former Grade 1 horse. Yeah, I quite like that. You know, he went off 5-2 for a Grade 1 over fences, the Kauto Star, when falling in a race won by Time Hill. That sort of ability, if it's still there, next time when he runs in a handicap on better going, that could be the time to catch him. Where do I think they should go? Well, I think it's obvious, considering he's won a Grade 1 over 3 mile over hurdles. surely he goes to this race, the 3 mile handicap chase at Aintree, at the Cheltenham, at the Grand National meeting. If he's going to another one, if he's going to run a big race, you would imagine it will be here at Aintree. Don't bother going to Cheltenham. I don't feel that's really suited to him. I think they were looking at maybe the plate with him as well, and that's not the Attempts final. That hasn't worked. Keep him over fences. Wait for this race at Aintree. And I think he could bounce back here off a 138 mark, considering after winning the Grade 1 at Aintree, he went up to a mark of 148. That's where he started over fences. 148, he's down to 138 now. I think he could be very interesting next time out, if it's at Aintree. Third one, another one that's dropped. I was a little bit surprised. There was a few things about this run. He was never put in the race. This is Shambler, never put in the race. On heavy going, which I don't think he really likes. You can see last time he ran on heavy at Chepstow, he did pull up as well. I don't think he likes that ground, although he's won way back here on heavy going, over 2 mile at Southwell. Again, it was a race that he was fully expected to go and win. He won it at 2-7. So he just got through the ground that day because of his, natural ability. I feel there's one race and one race only for this horse as well. And it's this race here. He was third in it last year, Shambler. It's the Injured Jockeys Fund Swinley Chase at Ascot. 56 grand or 57 grand to win the race. They beat Victorino. It looked a good race. Finished third, only beaten a length and a half. Off a mark of 143. He's now down to a mark of 134. He's £9 lower than when beaten in this race last year off a mark of... beaten in this race off by just 1.5 lengths. If he's going to, nearly trade even money in the run, another one that surely that's where they go. The concern would be, it's on the 15th of February. It's very quick. It would only be 14 days from when he last ran. I'm hoping that Sandown was such a poor event and such a poor effort, and he was held up right out the back that they just went, we're just getting round and we're not even trying here. That was his fitness schooling session 2 weeks out from the main target, which is the Swinley Chase, hopefully. If he turns up in the Swinley Chase, he went off 5s last year. He'd run off a £9 lower mark. I mean, if you could get 5s about him this year, obviously depending on who was in against him, if there's something that looks ridiculously well handicapped. I think Shambler does, though. Even at the ripe old age of 11, I think he would run a really big race in the Swinley Chase. It's only last year that he was running well. It's not like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago that he was running those big races. It was this time last year that he ran such a big race at Ascot. And finally, another horse that I'm very interested in going forward is Conflated. Now, strange one, Conflated. I think last season, his best 2 runs, third in a Ryanair at the Cheltenham Festival, beaten 6 3/4 lengths. Second in a Melling Chase, beating the Ryanair winner and just behind John Bon, beaten 1 1/4 lengths. That looks like really good form over 2.5 mile. Why has he gone back over 3 mile 5 even at Cheltenham in a cross-country race? He doesn't want that. Drop him back to 2.5 and now drop him into handicap company. He's dropped down to a mark of 154. This time last year when he turned up at Cheltenham, he was rated 166. He's been as high as 168. He's down to 154. Got to go in the plate, hasn't he? Got to go in that plate. Yes, he's going to have to carry a lot of weight off 154, but it might be that he's plenty good enough still. The 2.5 mile trip, I really think suits him. He's won a Foxrock handicap chase over 2.5. He then fell in the Ryanair when sent off 7-1. What was he? 5 lengths down, disputing second when fell 2 out, running a big race in the Ryanair. He's a 2.5 mile horse that they've been campaigning over 3 mile for some reason. Yeah, drop him back to 2.5, put him in the plate. I think he runs a huge race in that, to be honest. But that means we've got like 5 in the plate now, haven't we? There was news after my last video that Ginny's Destiny is not going for the plate and is probably going to run in the Ultima over 3 mile. So that takes one of those out of the race, but there's still 4 or 5 others that I'm really keen on. Let's hope not. We get 2, maybe 3 at most that run in it. And some of those that look obvious ones, like Conflated here, end up running in a Gold Cup, finishing 9th, and Connections going, oh, I don't know why he runs so badly. So, yeah, just the 4 this week. Monvielle back to Utoxeter just after Cheltenham. Chanbleu to Ascot in a couple of weeks. Gelino Bello to Aintree for the 3 mile handicap chase on Grand National weekend. And Conflated should run in the plate at the Cheltenham Festival, not the graded races.